Hello everybody and welcome back to Aviation ROA, and in today's video we're going to be doing the October update for Star Valley International Airport, which is my fictional airport. We have a brand new model in this update, and apart from that, that's all the really new things, so we're just going to get straight into this update. Starting off, just lining up on runway 24 for departure, we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A330-300. He's lining up for departure out to London Heathrow, and he arrived in from Amsterdam Schiphol 2 hours previously. Next up, behind the Delta A330, we have a KLM Boeing 777-300ER. He's operating the first of 2 daily flights out to Amsterdam Schiphol, and he'll be departing here in the next minute or two out to the Amsterdam Schiphol. Third in line for departure, here we have an American Airlines Airbus A321neo. He just arrived in from Dallas-Fort Worth about an hour ago, and he's making the turnaround out to Phoenix Sky Harbor. Next up, we have an aircraft that doesn't typically make an appearance in airport updates. However, just put him in here for the fun of it, really. We have the Tatom BAC 111 in the very old color scheme. He'll be making the departure out to Bucharest Otopen here in about 30 minutes' time. Next up, we have a Lufthansa Airbus A330-300. He's going to be making the once daily flight out to Frankfurt, and he arrived in from there 2 hours ago. I recently learned that Lufthansa is actually going to be transferring all their A330s to Discover Airlines. I think that's what it calls now. I know it was called Eurowings at one point. Personally, I like that name better, but we're not going to get into that. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking into something that might go accompany this model in the future, maybe 787 or something like that. So yeah, just current events on some Lufthansa stuff. I don't know how old that news is. I just found that out myself. So we'll definitely be looking into a sort of accompaniment aircraft to accompany this aircraft. So he's going to be heading out to Frankfurt. Next up, we have the brand new for Air France 777-300ER that has since replaced the A330-200 flying to Paris Charles de Gaulle, still accompanying the A340-300 from June Airways on that route. So Air France 777-300ER heading out to Paris Charles de Gaulle here in 45 minutes. I have since moved my A330-200. I have given it to Aviation 767. If you kept up with him, he did an unboxing of that model, so you should go check out that video because it's a pretty cool one. So yeah, sad to see A330's gone, but I definitely do love the replacement with the 777-300, an absolutely beautiful model by Gemini Jets. Here we have the beloved KLM Boeing 747-400 Combi. He just arrived in from Amsterdam 15 minutes ago, and he's scheduled for the flight back out there in 2 hours' time. Just taxiing to the B gates, we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A330-300. He just arrived in from Barcelona, which is the final flight for the seasonal service that we fly to Barcelona on Delta. So he's just arriving in from Barcelona, and he's scheduled for the turnaround out to Paris Charles de Gaulle here in an hour and 45 minutes. Moving back to the A gates, here we have a Delta Airlines Boeing 767-300ER. He just arrived in from Munich, Germany, and he'll be making the turnaround back out to Germany, out to Berlin, Brandenburg. And finally, for the A gates, one of our more rare visitors here, we have an Aerofly Airbus A330-300 making one of 3 weekly flights out to Moscow Sheremetyevo here in 45 minutes. Starting off the B gates, here we have another Delta Airlines Airbus A330-300. He just arrived in from Sao Paulo about 6 hours ago, and he'll be departing at Tunis in Tunisia in about 30 minutes' time. Next up, we have a Delta MD-11 in the Wavy Gravy livery. He just arrived in from London Heathrow about 45 minutes ago, and he's scheduled for departure out to Warsaw, Poland in about an hour and 30 minutes. Here we have a Delta Airlines Boeing 767-400ER, last wide body for a little bit. He just arrived in from Honolulu about 2 hours ago, and he's scheduled for pushback out to Lagos in Nigeria here in 10 minutes. Here we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A319. He arrived in from Detroit Metropolitan about 30 minutes ago, and he is scheduled for departure out to Norfolk, Virginia here in 30 minutes. A rather quiet narrow-body side to Concourse B today. However, we have a Delta Airlines Boeing 737-900ER to finish us off. He just arrived in from Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport 45 minutes ago, and he's scheduled for pushback out to Las Vegas here in 5 minutes' time. Just pushed back from Concourse C and is now taxiing to runway 24 for departure. We have Northwest Airlines Douglas DC-930 in the final color scheme. He arrived in from Indianapolis 50 minutes ago, and he's currently taxiing out for departure out to Fargo, North Dakota. Moving to Concourse C, we have a Northwest Douglas DC-950 in the bowling shoe color scheme. He arrived in from Washington Dulles about 30 minutes ago, and he is scheduled for departure out to Greensboro, North Carolina in 15 minutes. Moving down the line, we have a Delta Airlines Boeing 717. He arrived in from Savannah, Georgia about 10 minutes ago, and he is scheduled for departure at New York LaGuardia in 45 minutes. Next up, we have a Delta Connection CRJ 900. He arrived in from Roanoke-Blacksburg Regional Airport 15 minutes ago, and he is scheduled for departure at Charleston, West Virginia in 30 minutes. Just arrived in from Orlando. Here we have a Northwest Airlines Airbus A320 in the final color scheme. Like I said, he just arrived in from Orlando. He's going to be heading out to Minneapolis-St. Paul here in 15 minutes. Moving to the other side of the concourse, here we have an American Eagle CRJ 700. He just arrived in from Charlotte Douglas International Airport, and he's going to be making the turnaround back out there in 5 minutes. Following that, we have the U.S. Airways Express CRJ 700. He will be making the departure out to Philadelphia here in 10 minutes as well. Finally, for Concourse C, here are the United Express Embraer ERJ 175. He arrived in from Chicago O'Hare, and he will be making the departure out to Washington Dulles here in 15 minutes. Moving to Concourse D, we have an Allegiant Air Airbus A319. He just arrived in from Punta Gorda about 15 minutes ago, and he'll be overnighting here before departing out to St. Petersburg Clearwater tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Next up, we have a Breeze Airways Embraer ERJ 195. He will also be overnighting here before departing out to Fort Myers at 7:15 a.m. tomorrow morning. And finally, for Concourse D, we have a WestJet 737-700. He will be departing out to Calgary in Canada in about 34 minutes. WestJet is still relatively new to Star Valley. They do park at Concourse D due to pre-clearance in Calgary, so they can just park as the domestic flight here at Concourse D. And that is it for Concourse D and WestJet. We do welcome that to Star Valley and the revival of Canada, which we saw in the last update. Moving over to the hangar, where Star Valley is home to a fictional Delta Tech Ops maintenance base for Northwest and Delta Airlines to use for their A330s primarily. This Northwest A330 flew in from Minneapolis 2 days ago, and he's scheduled to have one of his PW4000 engines replaced. His next flight will be scheduled back out to Minneapolis here in the next week or two. And finally, for this update, we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A330-300. He was just removed from the hangar following an A-check, and he is scheduled for his first flight back in service tomorrow out to Amsterdam Schiphol. So yeah, guys, this is going to do it for today's update. Hope you guys did enjoy. Please leave a comment down below on any suggestions, route suggestions, or just if you want to say hi. But apart from that is going to do it for today's update. It's great to be back, and I'll see you all in the next video.